Rebuild of the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Gantes or the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
Oh man, has it been a minute since I've heard that song? And it sounds so good. I actually kind of forgot on how good that song is. It came on my Spotify the other day, like the full version or whatever, and I was like, damn, dude, you can bump this shit. Anyways,
certified banger.
Certified for a while now. What's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, January 20th, year of 2026. And yes, we're still here. All four of us are still alive. You have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I'm your host, Matt. I'm your host, Matt Sawaski, aka Father Zoe, aka Fat Zoe, aka Where the fuck is this guy been? With me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
Good to be back, gentlemen. Good to be back.
And the good Reverend K. Fids.
This feels like 2026 is already paying dividends. Just being with you guys tonight. So very nice stuff. Good to see you guys.
And no, ladies, that's not an illusion. That's him. He's actually here. We got the one, the only Mr. NASCAR Mitch. What's going on, Mitch?
Gentlemen, good to see you again. This certainly beats the what do you call it? What did Beef Loaf call them? The afternoon quickies that we were doing to keep the
Yes. Hey, I appreciate you guys doing that and keeping it alive. But we're back now, and this isn't a one-off. We're back now, so you're stuck with us again, like it or not. And well, since we haven't done this in a minute, we got a lot of things we want to talk about today, but we've narrowed it down to a couple for each team. We're going to get into the Bregman signing. We're going to get into the Muni signing. Thank God he has a nickname. We're going to talk about the trade rumors on both sides of town with Horner and Shaw, Luis Roberts, and also what are the White Sox going to do in the outfield. We got some free agent rumors with Zach Gallen, as well as, what are the White Sox going to do with Sean Newcomb, and basically what are the White Sox going to do with all these kids? They have a plethora of options. They have a plethora of we don't know yet, but hopefully one of these guys stick. So we're going to talk about that. And as always, so much more. I do have a Dodgers hat on. I was in LA last week. It's not even maddening that they're getting all these players, because don't be mad at them. Be mad at your owner for not doing the same thing. But what's maddening is I was in like sports. I was going out of my way to find dumpy sports bars. And I was like that guy in that bad TikTok video that like wears like the Trump shirt and he sits like this and he tries to get people to like talk to him. I was walking in there with like Bears gear on and I'm just like, Bears, anybody want to talk football? And no, we want to talk football. And then they got Kyle Tucker and I'm like, oh, sick. You guys got Kyle Tucker. They're like, okay. I was just like, how do you guys not care, dude?
Bad sports sound. Bad sports sound.
I was just like, oh, dude, I've never been more convinced that the Rams have 2,000 fans.
Well, it's funny you say that. I was out there the year they won the Super Bowl. I was doing an internship for like the Super Bowl that year of like marketing. But it was a Raiders. Like if you went to Universal Studios, they had a Raiders pro shop, but no Rams pro shop anywhere. And like if sports talk radio, the week of the Super Bowl was 50% Lakers and LeBron talk. And then they would get into like, if it was Chicago, it'd be like, even now with the playoffs, you turn on the radio, all you're hearing is Bears. They didn't care. It's probably the lowest attended Super Bowl parade I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I don't want to start to show off with football, but that's what Gronk was saying before. He's like, I'm rooting for Chicago. LA's got 2,000 fans. Chicago, it's this whole city going fucking bananas. This is for the Polish sausage, for the beer bellies, for Dumb Bears, for everybody. I was like, fuck yeah, Gronk. You just made the list, dude. That's awesome. The good list. Not that list that Beef Loaf's on. All right. Let's get into it. We're trying the new focus with this coming back year and everything now is to try to keep these shows a little tighter. We're not going to do the 2-hour marathons anymore. We're going to try to keep tweet like a toiger. We're still going to be ourselves. We're still going to go and end up talking about football to start the baseball show, but like we're going to try to stick to some kind of outline. And so we're going to start out here
NASCAR minute will be 2 minutes this time, though.
Yes.
The show's getting shorter, so the NASCAR minute can get more.
It's out the NASCAR minutes. With an S, plural.
We'll start with arguably the biggest thing that happened in Chicago's baseball, probably since the last time we spoke, and that's, you know what, a guy I really like. I'm happy for the Cubs to get this guy. I think he's a great add as a baseball player, but just as a locker room guy too, a presence. Loved how he did his opening presser, his son running around and all that fun stuff. But the Cubs went out and they signed Alex Bregman. Besides the player, before we even get into him as the player, I think the biggest thing that this showed Cubs fans is that the Cubs were willing to get into the deferred money game. You know, everybody's been begging the Cubs because, like I said, don't be mad at the Dodgers, be mad at your owners. The Cubs finally got in there and did that. And so, I mean, although in Fids, obviously, we usually defer the Cubs stuff to you. I don't know which one of you guys want to go first, but, you know, what did that Bregman signing show to you as about ownership?
All I remember is I think it was probably 4 or 5 days before they signed him. There was like the leaked offer from the Red Sox to Bregman. It was like around 160, 170 that it was coming out of Boston. And at that point, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, the Cubs aren't gonna match that. Like, they barely offered him 120 last year, or like it was 115 last year, and that was like pushing it for the Cubs. And I was like, okay, well, there's no way they're gonna. He's a year older now. He's coming off an injury. He's like, they're not gonna offer him more money now that he's 32. Which, by the way, saying players' ages now, that hurts. It's never hurt more than being like, oh yeah, this guy's 32. He's fucking in the grave.
Welcome, Aldo.
Welcome.
You have turned that corner.
I'm like, fuck, what?
Yep,
what do you mean? What do you mean he's done? He's only 31. He's young.
Yeah, you're watching a sporting event like, this guy's on his final legs. I can't believe he's still playing in his 33-year-old season. You're like, yeah, I'm 41, dude. Like, I should just die.
And you're not buying it, and then like you get out of bed one morning and you maybe turn around and maybe turn on the shower really quick. The next thing you're like, no one can do this at 33.
So when that leaked, when that report comes out from Boston, it's like you're thinking, all right, yeah. I mean, there's no way. They've been saying it since last year when they try to sign Bregman that they're not going to do deferred money. That's the only way these guys are getting signed to these huge contracts. If the Cubs aren't going to do that, they're not going to beat these other teams. Bam! It's it's about to be the fourth quarter of the Bears Packers game. News breaks.
Wild
you see
time
the
for
money.
That news to break.
I mean, you can argue that Jed Hoyer saved the Bears season. 5 years, $175 million. $70 million is deferred. That's like, I think 40% of his contract is deferred. Jed Hoyer at the Cubs convention, I think, or no, it was during Bregman's introductory press conference, said, basically alluded to the fact that he had to like convince ownership to be like, hey guys, you know, if we want to sign good players to these big contracts, you guys have to defer that money eventually. Right. Because obviously you guys don't want to spend like huge AAV money like the Dodgers every year. So if you want these guys, for the love of God, please give me this deferred money and contracts so I can get players that we want. And the funniest thing about this the deferred money thing, this is how much they love Alex Bregman, by the way. And yes, it's a difference of like hundreds of millions of dollars. They didn't want to do deferred money for Ohtani. Ohtani brought his deal that he signed with the Dodgers to all the finalists. And out of all the finalists, the Blue Jays said yes. The Giants, I think, said yes. Obviously, the Dodgers said yes. And I think there was 2 teams that were like, deferred money. Oh, and it was the Angels and the Cubs. They're like, no, I don't. We love you, Shohei, but deferred money. What is that? No thank you. And that just, I mean, again, he signed for what, $700 million. Bregman is $175. But it's great to see, and it's great to see that they're still, you know, we'll get to the rumors later, but they're going to be over the luxury tax, which again isn't really that much of a penalty money wise. They should just be over the luxury tax. And they might sign a few more guys. Great to see though. They're again, the big thing. They finally acted like the big market team that they are. They're in a division where they're like the big dog, and they have not used that advantage for like a decade. You know, the last time when they signed Hayward and Lester back in like 2015 and then 2016. It's like it's been forever.
Fids, what did that tell you as a Cubs fan for them to pony up for him?
Well, obviously, I mean, it changes. I mean, the whole vibe changes. I mean, all of a sudden, when you see the Cubs joining, the modern big market team using deferments as, because again, like you said it earlier. I mean, if your team's not doing it, it's blame your owners. It's if it's allowed and you're not playing within the rules. I always liken it like to the Mark Stone stuff, putting him on the long term injured reserve in for the Golden Knights. It's allowed. So if it's allowed and it's within the rules, why aren't you using it? Why doesn't everybody do this? You're kind of leaving something out on the table if you're not utilizing everything at your disposal, which tells me if you're not using it at your disposal, winning isn't a priority for you in the first place. So when you look at franchises that actually use it, that means they are using everything at every single tool in the box, as opposed to saying, well, we're not going to do this over here. And it's stupid reasonings too, because it all doesn't matter. It makes it up. I mean, we've seen with Shohei Ohtani already. He already made the money back. Just one World Series, they made the money back. Like they're already back in the, they haven't lost a dime, and they're making a lot more money out of it. And, I think Ricketts finally saw that and was like, wait a second, we can do this and make some money. I like money. So Ricketts went with it. So, I mean, and then obviously getting Bregman as a player, I mean, that's just the organization showing up, finally being a big boy.
So you brought it up right away, and I wanted to ask everybody here, because I think we've talked about it before, but the whole Houston Astros cheating scandal, the garbage cans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about a guy who was in the middle of that, but his reputation right now is fucking great clubhouse leader. You want him on your team. Everything about that is it's like it never happened.
It's almost, those Houston Astro guys should actually be thanking LA, because LA has taken over so much as the evil fucking empire of baseball that people don't even really, I mean, that's the world we live in too, with the news cycles from Mitch, all this shit. Something's big one day or 1 hour, and then 2-3 hours later, something else happens, like Kyle Tucker going to Dodgers, and nobody gives a shit anymore about the past thing. It's crazy in this, social media, Twitter world that we live in, how quick those cycles. Now the Astros, they ate it for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what stood out to me going with that, because obviously a lot of those guys carried some of that baggage of the bad reputation. But here's the Bregman, although you mentioned it with the clubhouse leader, one season in Boston, and he gets named the captain of that team. And just his one season there. So you're not only you're adding a pretty solid player, that's a really good veteran to have in the clubhouse. It also felt like a move they kind of needed to make, given how they handled the trade deadline. I know they added Tucker, but it was kind of a rental. Then you trade your best outfield bat for some pitching help. So it's okay, we're a playoff team, but when are you going to show us that you give a shit and you want to take the next step and turn it from a playoff team into a World Series contender? And I don't think it gets them all the way there yet, but at least for Cubs fans, it's signaling, okay, no, we are trying to improve here. And I think that's a great way to do it. Now you look at the infield depth too, because I don't even think you really need a second baseman, given how many or it's just another infielder. But I think now, just health wise, you can rotate Nico and Bregman and Shaw in there instead of playing 140 games. Maybe each of them was only playing 120, but you got that depth for later in the season. So I think it was a good move all around. I mean, he's turned into a very likable guy. Just you listen to his interviews and whatnot. The last couple.
And again, it was the showing up with the wife and the 2 kids, and this kid running up to Clark the Cub, giving him a hug, and then showing everyone how his daddy bats, and then he just has this wholesome family image now. But I mean, I like Bregman. I think going to Boston was the best thing for him. Getting out of Houston, like you said, becoming the captain of that team. But now Bregman as a player, what the Cubs are getting is a not pretty banged up, but a banged up 31-year-old. I know he's old as shit. Third baseman. Last year he was a 3.5 WAR, 18 homers, 273 batting average, 62 RBIs. I mean, he slashed. What did he slash last year? 273, 360, 462 with an OPS of 821.
That'll play.
He's still a stick. I mean, especially the dimensions in Wrigley are definitely going to help him out just as well as they did in Boston. Baseball Reference has him projected at 19 homers, 63 RBIs, hitting 261. I mean, he doesn't strike out a ton, doesn't walk it. I mean, he's a contact guy, but
he's a good contact guy. Still has some power. Still a good third baseman. I mean,
not the greatest,
beloved by his teammates, clubhouse leader.
If I had to
He's
find
an
a
A+
flaw,
sign.
yeah, if I had to find a flaw, it's not even a bad arm. It's just not the greatest arm for a corner
Yeah.
infielder. But
I do have to say he had the quad injury.
Mhm.
When he came back, he was like an average hitter for the last like 2-3 months. So I mean, again, maybe the body recovers a little slower. You're hoping that the off season is enough time for him to fully recover now.
But he won't have to play the full season, most likely. Assuming you do not trade Nico, which it doesn't look like they're going to, you got a solid rotation in there where you can almost platoon them. Like, you don't want to be doing that for obviously your like $100 million sign, but I think you can afford to take a couple days off.
Yeah, I know it's for sure like and like these guys have so much pride. Like I think Council always talks about with Dansby Swanson. Like Swanson wants to play it, and like with Atlanta, I think he was playing like every game. He's like, I want to start at 162. And now again, now that he's getting to the like old age of 30, Council's like, we need to slow you down a little. If you're not feeling 100% at this day, it's okay to take a day off. Obviously, that's something that they should do with Bregman. And like you said, Mitch, they have the depth to do it. You have Matt Shaw, who in the second half slugged like 520, hit like 12 home runs and like 200 plate appearances as your utility guy, as your backup like bench guy. So use him when you can.
For me, you're getting a winner, and you're getting a guy who knows how to win in the postseason. And I mean, that's the Cubs.
9 straight years in the postseason.
And you're getting a guy that was a Cub fan as a child. You're getting a guy whose father is a Cubs fan who's now running for governor in New Mexico, which is.
Yeah, how do you think that relationship with Matt Shaw goes? You think they get along?
I want to see.
No, we're not opening that door.
That's gonna be a
We're not opening that door.
Dynamic. Or perhaps Bregman's like,
Trust me, growing up as a Matt, I've heard that's my friend Matt. Don't talk to him.
Like, you can ask him anything about anything except for one thing.
Yeah, that's my friend Matt. Yeah, he eats glue.
I didn't say I did write about it. It was a little corny, maybe a little cheesy, but he changed his number to number 3. Then he was asked why. Obviously, there's the whole Nico Horner trade rumors.
Yeah.
Because he's always worn number 2. He's like, well, I want to win my 3rd championship.
No,
Problem. What if the Cubs do win? Is he going to change his number again, or are we just stuck with one? With one title.
Elevating it if you don't.
Actually, I didn't even think of that. Although, so they win it, and he's just like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, he's like, "Fuck, well, that's it, guys. I brought you one title. No more. My job is done."
4 next year. It was a good answer to the question on the spot. I mean, I know. Didn't he wear 2 because he was the 2nd pick in the draft?
Yeah, behind Dansby Swanson.
Behind Dansby Swanson. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good answer to the question. Like, he seems pretty chill. I mean, he could be out there with Chicago's favorite new power couple of PCA and Caleb Williams.
Dude, they're okay.
They're the Bulls game.
They're out again. It's a little too much, too fast.
Power couple. Power couple.
Well, you know that PCA, like, he literally bought a house in Chicago because he didn't want to go back west. He actually wants to immerse himself in the community in Chicago and be amongst his people and be a part of the community. Like, there's something about that. I'm sorry, you guys know this. It's balls cold in Chicago. Anybody that leaves the comforts of Hollywood to live in Chicago for the winters just so they can immerse themselves in the community, which means going out quite a bit during the winter time. You got to respect the hell out of that. As far as I'm concerned, that just gets me super excited because that means PCA is he's embracing his position.
And well, the thing is too, Connor Bedard is right there with them, and I'm loving that the Chicago Superstars are like living it up in Chicago. Like Fid said, like they're not, hanging out at Lakers games or some bullshit.
One question though, where's the invite to Kyle Teal?
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be Montgomery if it's any of them. And
I think it's gonna be Rock.
He was watching the Natty last night, watching his Hoosiers take the Natty. I don't know if you saw it. Montgomery, I think it was on his Instagram stories. He had the red and white striped pants on. Said game day fit. He was ready to go for the Hoosiers. I think
it's common knowledge now. He was committed to play basketball there before he decided to go baseball route.
Or look at this segue. I haven't been doing this for a while. Or it could be the new Sox superstar, Mooney. I was so happy when he's like, just call me Mooney. I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Automatic fan favorite, right? It's like, guys.
Also, I want to point out they had the decency, unlike the Cubs, to wait till after the Bears-Packers game to announce the signing. So that was like one of the best sports weekends.
Mitch, the Cubs are trying to add some juice. All right.
Yeah, well,
it worked.
The White Sox needed to get in there somewhere, and they went and got. I'm gonna give this a go. I'm sorry, Mooney. Munetaka Murakami.
Yep.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, the minute that they signed him, I was like, oh, I was so fucked.
No, so they signed him, and I'm like reading about him, and I'm learning about him and all this stuff, and I'm sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm so fucked." And then the first video I see of him is like, "Call me Muni." I was like, "Muni, my boy, let's go." I actually tweeted that. It's one of my very rare tweets these days. I was like, I tweeted my Sox Summer. I was like, "We're good, dude. He's got a nickname, like Muni." But so just like the Cubs signing of Bregman showed that they're willing to get into the deferred money, this signing shows me that new ownership and current GM Guts and everybody are kind of getting together and working together already, because the stories have been told that they had to kind of convince Jerry to do this. You know what I mean? And
they had to get the marketing department involved,
marketing and everything, and show them the return on investment and all this stuff. But it was the future ownership coming in and really negotiating a lot of this. And I know there's been some talking, some banter, if you will, about, why did it even take convincing to go get this guy? Like, if he was available, why, but that's just who Jerry is, dude. Like, if you're not used to it by now, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. And the positive that I take out of this is just the new ownership sees, like, this kid can hit the shit out of the fucking ball when he makes contact, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And like, yeah, we're going to go get this guy. And I mean, in no way, shape, or form am I putting him on the level of celebrity or platform of Ohtani. But if you can go get that Japanese market and you can get in there and get that money, bro, like they already said, Sox jerseys and shit are flying off the shelves over there and shit like that. Like, this dude was a guy over there. Like, he was a big name over there, and he is a big name over there. I mean, this was front page news when he signed with the White Sox on a lot of Japanese papers. And so, I mean, what the White Sox are getting, for those of you that don't know, he's going to be, 26? He's 25 now. I think he'll be 26 when the season started. Last year in 56 games, which is 224 plate appearances. I mean, if you combine them both, I guess, 69 nice games, 263 plate appearances, or 220 at-bats, 63 hits, 10 doubles, 24 homers, 52 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, 38 walks, 71 strikeouts. That's what we're going to talk about in a minute. But his last full season was in 2024. We'll go off that one. He slashed 244, 379, 472 with an OPS of 851, 33 home runs. And so everybody knows, in 2022, he hit 56 bombs. Like, that's like Barry Bonds shit over there. Like, that's a big deal if you're hitting nukes at that pace over there. Like, that's a power hitter. And,
well, not only that, I mean, that's Japan. He's Japan's all-time home run leader with that 56 home run season. Yeah. It's not just a dude; he's like the dude.
That's Barry Bonds shit over there. And if you really want to look at it, look at the World Baseball Classics, dude. When he puts bat to ball, and again, it's when he puts bat to ball, it's hard contact every time. Dude just hits missiles. And MLB pitching and, the Japanese league pitching, probably not on the same level, but they throw some wild shit over there. So he should be seeing a little bit. Yeah, like, Frisbee's a good way to put it. And big guy, joyful guy, should fit in on the south side. I'm pumped about it. It's just, for me, to see that there was a guy available and the White Sox actually went and got him, I think that was just the whole, holy shit, they went and got somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, all right, so.
Well, I think the biggest thing was, right, like, he was one of the younger Japanese guys coming over this year.
Yeah.
At the beginning of free agency, like, the predictions for him, that his contract was crazy. It was like up to like almost $200 million.
Yep.
Just because of his age and like the potential. And obviously that came down. But like you said, Zoe, it's not just like, because obviously the White Sox at this point, they're still not going to go to that length, right? But
Right.
they saw an opening, they saw an opportunity, they saw the market going their way.
Yes.
Now, again, is this guy a guarantee? No, he could suck, he can be good.
He's
He
not
can be
Ohtani.
maybe somewhere in the middle.
You know what I mean? It's not like.
But
you're
they still commit. They like saw an opening. It's like, okay, we can take a risk here. And again, we're talking about a franchise that unfortunately doesn't always spend big, but they did it. Like $17 million. It's only 2 years. It's like what, 34 million total. That's still a huge chunk and change, relatively speaking, for the White Sox. And it's good to see that they're like, all right, at the very least, we're building a relationship here with like Japan. Like, hey, we're also we can also be a destination for future free agents. You're hoping that he comes in and he does become a star, and then you hit because you took advantage of an opportunity that in the past you're like, oh, White Sox, yeah, I wish that they would have gone for him, but like we know the White Sox. But like, no, it's not the same old White Sox.
It wasn't the old seat at the table bullshit. You know what I mean?
I think it was a move that benefits both sides, really. I mean, what stood out to me, the two things, before we get to like the actual player himself, like you said, though, like it showed that they're willing to go out and, actually, because we heard all those rumors when he first said when he was first being posted and like, hey, this guy's coming over, the White Sox were involved. And you hear that like a lot, and I didn't know like how serious it actually was.
Oh, yeah,
you look at the track record, too, especially not even just with free agents. They don't sign a ton of Japanese players. He is the first Japanese player to wear a White Sox uniform since Kosuke Fukudome in 2012. Only played 12 games for him. So,
Got about that.
It's been a while. So I think just from the business standpoint, I think it's really beneficial for both sides here. From the White Sox side, regardless of how he does as a player, you're probably going to make your return on investment just with all the added fans and merch you're going to get. I already see
100%.
Japanese fans like kind of working their way into White Sox Twitter, like, what's the best uniform to buy? All that stuff. Like, who do I need to know on the team? Which I think is like really cool. So you're going to get a return on your investment regardless of how good he ends up being. For the White Sox too, I think, it stinks that it's only a 2-year deal. But I think from Mooney's side, you have to get acclimated to MLB pitching. White Sox is a pretty low pressure environment to do it. You're in a weak division. You're not really expected to win. You got 2 years to kind of get acclimated to the MLB pitching. I suspect he's probably going to struggle his first year, but if he's able to find something and really pop off, all of a sudden he's a free agent again at the age of 28. Yep. So, Dodgers probably come rolling in with a huge paycheck. So for both,
that's when he goes to the Dodgers, but yeah.
Really good deal. And I think the only reason the White Sox, now there is some concerns, and the transitioning to the player side, like, so I'd be curious what you're expecting from them, but like, here's some of the things that I've heard, just kind of what my expectations are. One, I hear the defense is not that great. So I was happy to hear that they're going to put him at first base, because I think our first base options were
first base.
The first base options as it stands, like Lenny Sosa could not play first. Miguel Vargas was serviceable, but I thought he was a much better third baseman. So I was happy to hear that they're keeping Miguel Vargas at third and they're keeping him at first, because by all accounts, the fielding wasn't great. And you mentioned the strikeout numbers too. You really saw it in the World Baseball Classic. Now, he had that great moment where he had the walk-off home or walk-off double against Mexico, and it was a big clutch hit. But leading up to that, against a lot of MLB pitching, he was struggling in that tournament. And there's a lot of swing and miss. So my prediction for him, and let's curious, Zoe, if you're like, I think for year one, we probably see almost kind of like a Colson Montgomery type, where I think he hits around like 230. You're going to have over 100 strikeouts, but you're getting 25 to 30 homers, and you're getting like 70 plus RBIs. That's kind of my expectations. I don't think it's the page, but I think 25 homers with 70 RBIs or so, I think is a realistic expectation.
I think that's fair. I mean, he is the Japanese Pedro Soriano, or not Soriano. What was the guy's name from Major League?
Serrano.
No, it was Pedro.
Pedro Serrano.
Pedro Serrano. Yeah, he's the Japanese Pedro Serrano. Can't hit curveballs.
And that's
I was going to say, what if he's Japanese Patrick Wisdom?
Yeah. He needs hat for bat.
Isn't now Patrick Wisdom the Japanese Patrick? Oh, no, he got signed by
Korea.
He's back on this side of the pond.
I was gonna say, by the way, guys, can you imagine horny Japanese White Sox Twitter? Oh, man. Like, what's that going to look like?
We're going to unlock a whole nother demographic here.
Furries and weird shit. But
the anime is going to go hard.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna make AI. It's gonna make you hard.
Man. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be wild shit. But I'm with you, Mitch. I think those aren't outlandish numbers. I think he will adjust. I mean, the 2-year deal to me plays. Just if he really sucks these 2 years and it just doesn't work, whatever, you tried. But if he could figure it out halfway through year one, or towards the end of year one, and has a great year two, I'm not saying he's going to take a hometown discount because he's not from Chicago, but like he might be a little bit more appreciative.
Make the call. It's like year one, he's mashing. He's like, all right, guys, give him the bag.
Give it
right
to
now.
him.
That's when we trade prospects.
I also think that
at the deadline.
I think the timing is really, really good for this to be happening for the White Sox. I think they got a lot of really young, promising, fun players. I think that locker room isn't anything like it used to be a couple years ago. I think it's a more fun, competitive environment where a guy, a 25, 26-year-old guy coming over from Japan is going to be like, oh, it's actually kind of dope. Like this is fun. Like I like this. Where if he was in that locker room with TA and the boys, he'd be like, where the fuck am I?
No, it's setting up to be a fun season. Like my dad bought season tickets for the first time in his life because like this is pretty fun. The one thing I am concerned about. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your point. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I'm just saying. Like,
I am a little concerned about. Like I felt this way even before the signing with that young core. They're really lacking, especially with Talkman probably gone. It doesn't look like they're bringing him back. They don't have a ton of like professional major league hitters around a lot of those young core guys. And I think as good as Mooney could be, you're still kind of in the same boat with him. So I almost think it makes the case for keeping Luis Robert, at least for the start of the season, even stronger. Because like while he had a down year, at least like he just had a track record of success. Like you need some more professional hitters in that lineup just to kind of give a little protection to some of those younger guys. Because they're relying on a lot of guys with under 300 career at-bats.
Yeah, I mean, we could actually just use that to dive right into the next topic. Both sides of town still have some trade rumors swarming around the team a little bit. We'll start, as we're trying to go, we'll go on the north side here. And, Nico Horner and Matt Shaw, they've been all around. And again, Fizz, I'll start with you, but this is just me. I just couldn't see them trading Nico Horner. I just don't see a world why you do it. I don't see them doing it. I understand, not really, but why some people would think it. But I don't know. I know that's your guy. You're a Nico guy. So, where do you stand on that?
I've been both guys. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not going to let personal feelings get in the way of how I think about the other guy as a ball player. I love him. I think he's a fantastic ball player. So, but with Nico Horner, it's just a very different player. We've talked about it on the show. I don't know how many times now over the last 7-8 years about the idea of having a balanced lineup, having a lineup that's not all 1 through 9 the exact same cookie cutter guys with the same approach, especially in this power age of lift and pull and all the launch angle stuff. Having a guy that can go gap to gap, put the bat on the ball, get on base, create havoc, steal bags, do things. You need to have 1 or 2 of those in the lineup minimum if you're going to have success. You need to set tables, create some havoc, force a pitcher to throw some stressful pitches. All that kind of stuff becomes an issue. And so, you look at Matt Shaw, and you got Nico Horner. People have been, it started with the Nico Horner trade rumors. Now I think that a lot of personal feelings are getting in the way. People now all of a sudden it's shifted from Nico to Matt Shaw. People just are almost like wishing it to be Matt Shaw, and it's just.
I got a point to make about Matt Shaw. So you finish, and I'm going to toss that.
But with Nico, like he's a different player than Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw is a power hitting guy that's maybe as an early career maybe projects like a Nico, but then the power is going to show up for Matt Shaw. Totally different guys. Matt Shaw can do a lot of things that Nico does. But Nico is just so special in the fact that, I personally think he's the best player on the Cubs roster. I think he's better than anybody else. I think actually he provides more value than Bregman or anybody. I mean, you throw it down. And so
he is a very complete player.
He is. And
defense is great. And he doesn't strike out either. Like that's a nice guy to have the top of the line because they struggled with runners in scoring position last year. Yes. Nico's a guy you want up when you got a runner in scoring position, in my opinion, because he's going to put the ball in play at the very least.
And PCA will get there, but he's not going to be a contact guy, I don't think, over the course of his career because he has that dog in him where he is going to come out of his shoes a lot more frequently. And Nico's always about the approach. Nico's willing to strafe a ball off into the dugout, offside things until the pitcher makes a mistake and go up there and, make it the most miserable at bat for a pitcher. And that's something that you can't, again, that makes the guys behind him better. And that's the thing you like about Nico Horner. He makes his teammates better by his approach because they get to see more pitches. They get an opportunity to get a guy that's gassed or frustrated ahead of him. And of course, he sets a table. He's going to take a single and turn it into a double. Maybe he'll take a double and turn it into a triple. And And obviously he's the perfect kind of role model for all young ball players. I just think you don't let a guy like that go. If you're serious about winning, you want more of those guys, not less. And you're not going to trade them to teenagers.
I don't think people really understand how valuable Nico really has been, because we always like focus on like the big offensive numbers, right? Like we go like, oh, Kyle Tucker, was a top 10 hitter coming into when he got traded to the Cubs. Say Suzuki's like, oh, he has all that power, PCA of 30-30 season. Michael Busch has a big year last year. Bregman, his track record coming in, it's like a lot of that value is like on offense. Nico Hoerner's been, an above average hitter for most of his career. Last year was his career best. I think it was like a 110 WRC plus. Good, nothing special. Good. He was the second most valuable player on the Cubs, I think, behind PCA, like in just F4. Since 2022, he's just consistently a 4-WAR player. Those don't grow on trees. Like you don't just get a 4-WAR player.
For 4-WAR players. Yes.
Exactly. Like that's who you want to get. And again, a lot of that value is he plays elite defense. And I am so scared to see what a Cubs infield without Nico Hoerner looks like at second base, because there's so many little plays that he makes look easy. The difficult plays he makes. He's won a Gold Glove twice. He probably should have won it 3 years in a row.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, like he was a pretty good shortstop too back in 2022. He steals he'll steal 30 bases a year. Besides that, he's just a great base runner.
You don't trade a guy like that.
You don't trade a guy like I remember last year when there was like the trade rumors with the Mariners, like, oh, go get one of their starting pitchers. You have Matt Shaw coming. You can trade Nico Hoerner. It's like you're trading a guy who's like probably, well, not with PCA, probably like your second best defender. And you're probably your best defender in the infield because, Dansby lost his stuff last year.
Yep.
You have a guy like Kevin said, where no, he's not a power hitter, but he'll hit 300, he'll hit 400 with runners in scoring position. Like just crazy numbers with guys on base.
Good teams
Ultimate
too.
Role model. Like, when's the last time you guys heard anything bad about Nico Hoerner?
Oh, and check this out. This is the thing that really stands out to me too. Okay, because you want to think about the Cubs, the way the Cubs are built, right? You got Michael Busch at first base. He's fairly quick lateral wise. He's got a really good first step. He covers some ground over there. Nico Hoerner had a plus 16 saved on balls hit to his right in 2025. So his defensive run saves on balls hit to his right was plus 16. No other infielder in Major League Baseball had better than 11 in any single direction, let alone to his right. Now you pair up Nico Hoerner covering that much ground to his right with Dansby Swanson, who already picks it, and of course PCA coming in. I mean, your middle is you don't fuck with that. I'm sorry, that's a triad right there of fucking like that's the Bermuda Triangle of defense for the Cubs. That's going to drop a pitcher's ERA, a pitcher's whip. It's going to eliminate extra pitches. You have someone that covers so much ground, and that's what the thing is. Remember, people are like worried if he could play shortstop, but his arm is so good. Like when he plays that to his right, and when he goes one of those backhands and those off balance throw, he's throwing it firm over there. And then not to mention the fact that having that good cannon over there on his transfer on double play balls, his redirect is so quick, and then again that flip of the wrist, he just does things that I mean that's just. But think about how just directional dominance isn't. I mean he had a 6.2. What was it, a 6.2? No.
I think, like.
I mean, that's just crazy.
Well, you beat me to the point. Like, good teams typically, if you look at a lot of World Series and playoff teams, they're good up the middle, especially defensively. And when you got Nico, Swanson, and PCA is your defenders, you're set. Like, you're going to be hard pressed to find better defensive alignment than that, especially up the middle.
Yeah, and I don't. It's not something you can easily replace. It's not. You just don't trade a guy like that, in my opinion. He's a very complete player. And when it comes to Matt Shaw, I just have a message for a lot of Cubs fans. You need to grow the fuck up. You need to grow the fuck up. I mean, unfortunately, and it's true, my idol, my hero, Michael Jordan, womanizer, compulsive gambler, fucking like these athletes aren't good dudes, man, most of the time. Like we want to paint them in this like amazing picture because they're athletic and all this. You got to separate that shit. I mean, it's not some things you just can't. Don't get me wrong. Like if he's killing people or whatever, like yeah,
Hey, boys will be boys when you're hitting hundreds.
right.
Yeah,
It's I mean,
he's
just
not doing
like,
things. He's not out partying. He's not at the club.
But
He's not like
he's-
he's not breaking the
I mean-
law. He's not beating women. He's not.
yeah, I don't know. It's if you're gonna watch sports, unfortunately, part of the gig is you're gonna have to separate some things that you're not too fond of from the player.
Now, for the Cubs contingent here, and this is backtracking a little bit. I'm going a little off, but like with that trade you guys made, you had the pitching help, but you lose probably your best outfield prospect like Bat. Do you feel the need to add another outfielder? Because like outfield, why like defense, like not a ton of offense coming from right field.
This is why you don't trade Matt Shaw, who is versatile enough to actually play the outfield on a decent level, probably better than probably better than a couple guys on the Cubs bench as well. So he's obviously going to be a better outfielder than Seiya immediately the minute he sets foot in right field if he was out there. But
Man,
thing
Seiya
is-
gets such a bad rap.
it was actually not too bad last year. He just sometimes when he looks bad, he looks really freaking bad.
That's
but,
the thing. He has like the really bad, embarrassing drops.
Yeah.
But he's not.
Those had those
He has a
too.
great
Like,
arm. Yeah, he has surprisingly okay range. He just has the stupid, lazy looking one-handed drops. You're like, what the fuck was that?
with what Zoe said too,
Oh.
and Zoe, I want to piggyback on that too. Is I don't understand what look. I know this. I mean, again, if you've ever hung out with a bunch of Major League Baseball players in any way, shape, or form, whether you're just hanging out at the
Any
bar
pro athlete,
or
dude.
talking at practice or just listening to them talk about their life views. I mean, my God, if you don't realize that 65 to 70% of Major League Baseball players don't lean to the same direction Matt Shaw does, you don't know these dudes. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, you put it, the more sunscreen they need with the more money they have, the more they're going to probably drift to the right. That's just,
Sure.
I've never been threatened more in my life. I've been threatened by a Major League Baseball reliever. He was in New York and in Seattle. They didn't want to beat the shit out of me for political reasons because something I don't even know what the hell it was like. Again,
He can't even get closers mad at him. He's getting middle relievers.
Oh, right. Not even me. I mean, but the thing is, if you go through the whole group, now, yeah, there's dudes like that aren't that way, that are obviously, and again, whatever on the beliefs. But it's the fact is that's a majority of Major League Baseball players are leaning the same way Matt Shaw is. Matt Shaw just happened to be, on a poster right next to Aldo's best friend,
Roger
Roger
Stone hanging
Roger
in the
Stone, who's
bench.
literally arguably one of the worst human beings in the world. The dude literally was part of the Nixon administration, has a giant Richard Nixon tattoo on his back. And they're right next to each other. The Cubs, it's a bad look too, because this guy obviously was a pardoned criminal. But
Dick, look at Dick.
really, Shaw Stone, it was alphabetical, I know, but that was kind of a rough look. But what? If this is a guy's friend, look, my dad used to say you are who you hang out with. And you can kind of judge people by who they hang out with generally, but you sometimes you don't. Like I have some friends that I just haven't quit on, that I really think that their beliefs are reprehensible in a lot of ways. And I hope that maybe I could be one of the voices of reason in their ear. And, the idea of taking Matt Shaw, he doesn't have to fit into that same thing just to be a good human and a good person. And maybe had made a friends with someone that is very different in private off camera, even if they are what they are. I mean, again, like you've said, some of these people are, not great people off the field, but you're not going to get someone like, man, look at the things that he doesn't do. I mean, again, I'm not trying to make excuses that, and you'll know I fully disagree with that area, but I'm, at the same time, dude, that's these guys. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to boycott basically 70% of the players, maybe 80% of the players that you like. I mean, just because Colson Montgomery hasn't said his political beliefs doesn't mean he doesn't have the same political beliefs. You got to understand that these guys, it's generally smarter.
Colson Montgomery communist.
Yeah, they're making money.
Unbelievable.
Look,
Their
like,
marketing team probably was like, guys,
Although,
we
write it up.
guys to not talk about this stuff and just, marketing team, the favorite thing they want to do. Yeah, they want you to shut up and dribble because it makes their job easier. But,
I do have a quick question for you guys.
Like, I don't recommend it, but if you want to, you're a big boy, and here's the lightning that comes with it, right? And it
I'm
has.
just picturing Aldo putting Colson Montgomery in his red and white Indiana pants and saying the Russian colors?
Communist?
Possibly.
Let's say tomorrow, Cubs announce they have an extension agreed with Nico Horner. Like 5 more years after this year. So, he's basically locked up with Swanson still, Bregman, Bush, PCA. That's like the new core. It's like it's locked in. It's those guys.
I thought about that.
Do you entertain or do you get more swayed in a trade if like you dangle out Matt Shaw and you can get a top pitcher back?
But yeah, I mean, you just want to listen.
Right.
That's the thing that doesn't make sense right now. If the Cubs trade Matt Shaw, like again, the Nico Horner stuff, it's like, okay, you don't know if he's going to come back. But you're trying to win this year, so you don't trade him.
Sorry.
But like, at least the argument is like, oh, he's going to be a free agent. You don't know if he's going to be back or not. Fine, I can see that argument. I don't buy into it, but I can see like that's a reason. Trading Matt Shaw right now without extending Nico Horner leaves the Cubs without an infielder next year. It's like that just makes no sense.
And Jed would lose negotiating position, and you know how Jed plays.
Exactly.
He ain't gonna do something like that. He's not gonna like chop the cliff on down so he can lower his ability to negotiate because he loves the deal. So yeah.
I wonder if by the way, the Cubs do probably should get another outfielder because I think right now their backup outfielder is Kevin Alcantara.
Well, I mean, Voldemort
which would be fine. But like I don't know how much like playing time he'll get. But like Mitch Anzo, why don't the White Sox want talking back?
I was wondering the same thing. Like you got Braden Montgomery, who's probably a year away, that is probably going to be the long-term solution, right? Why not get he was, injuries aside, I thought he was excellent for the White Sox last year. The guy was a pro. He worked good at bats. He busted his ass. Like he set a good example. Like that's the type of guy you want around a team like this. I think they've left the door open to bringing him, but they added a couple minor league signings too. I think might compete for the job. I was curious about it too. I thought that decision.
Well, maybe
but the knee injury might be worse than people think because he did have surgery right after the season. And he only played 90 games last year. So that was what I took away from it when they did let him walk. I was like, I wonder if that knee is more of a concern than they're letting on. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty badass. Road Dog checked in. He said that day Colton hit the concourse shot last year, the ballpark was 2/3 empty. Shocker. And you can hear his dad screaming, "That's my boy." That's an awesome moment. Yeah, that's
wow.
pretty cool.
Yelled it in Russian. I knew it.
Colson Montgomery too, just a 100 player in baseball right now by MLB Network, which is the first. We didn't have a guy on the list last year, so pretty big news to the White Sox.
Speaking of White Sox outfielder, why is it so hard to trade Luis Robert? I feel like they've been trying to trade him for like 3 years. I don't know if teams are just like, we're not going to give you shit for this guy. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, we've seen Getz in negotiations. He's not going to budge unless his asking price is met. And the guy's had a 1.4 WAR the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
No team's going to give him what they want for. The smartest move there, I think, is you got to hold on to him at least for the start of the season and hope he rebuilds his value. And if not, at the very least, you got a good defender who is a capable bat. Maybe not like the all-star we all envisioned, but you could do a hell of a lot worse than Luis Robert in center field, especially with the young pitching staff. That's some nice defense to have out there. So I'm all for not trading him if you're not getting what you want. Don't just trade him to trade him.
Yeah,
I don't think the White Sox are going to trade him until it's going to be until the summer. But if something surprising happens during these next 6 weeks, who would be the starting center fielder for the Sox?
If he was traded?
Yeah.
Talkman.
and his one good knee.
And his one wheel. Yeah.
Well, see, that's interesting because they're already trying to phase out. Yeah, it's probably it's probably Kiera from Tampa. Because it doesn't sound like Benintendi's going to, it sounds like they're trying to dial back his time in left field.
Why is
Then-
Benintendi hanging out with Caleb Williams and PPA?
But it's so
Yeah,
weird.
what the
Like
hell?
you hear all this stuff about White Sox, this and like you're hearing all this news. Like I haven't heard his name once this winter.
I
It's not
heard
a bad thing.
start of the
Right.
offseason, they were saying, I think it was Chris Getz that said they wanted to be a DH more. They're trying to shift him into like more of a full-time DH role because they don't want him in the outfield or as much time in left field, especially because that defense. That's the only thing I've really heard from.
Yeah, because he's got a
him.
fucking noodle for an arm, dude.
I wouldn't mind him though. If he was the all-time DH, like I wouldn't hate that. Like I mean,
No,
he has
that's
not
fine.
lived up to that contract, but I didn't think he had a bad season last year. I
He
thought he was
started hitting,
perfectly.
he started hitting a little bit, and I mean that's fine as a DH. He's not going to hurt you. I mean, it was comical, man. I might be the slowest Caucasian on the face of the earth. I'd probably score from third on him. I got
Well,
thrown
they-
out in Little League baseball, tagging up with from a ball hit to the wall. That's how slow I am.
Herb should
Little
do
League,
contest.
dude.
contest. He needs to tag up from third
And-
and see if he can beat out
yeah.
a throw from Benintendi.
But Ian brought up a point too when we were talking about Luis Robert, and it's great to see all you guys back in the comment section. We really appreciate it. But Ian saying that they've been talking on their show, and they think Getz is just holding on for a comp pick with Robert. And you know what? The
Might
best
be
case
better than
scenario,
what they get.
without a doubt. And the best case scenario in my head is Luis is still kind of a young, impressionable man. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely gotten older, gotten a little bit more mature. But if this team comes out of the gate hot, you know, with some of these young guys playing, you know, and everybody's going and the locker room's electric and people are dancing, having fun, like music's blasting, they're playing like a team. I feel like that's going to bring the best out of Luis Robert.
We saw evidence of that last year
Yes,
too.
exactly.
Like,
That's what I'm talking
before he
about.
went down, second half of the season, his OPS was over 800. Once all those guys came up, he did look rejuvenated. You saw him like running out ground balls more than he usually would. He had that stretch of like 4 diving catches in a row, and then the bat was starting to heat up too before he got injured. So I think we've already kind of seen that. Like the vibes are high, like he's engaged.
No, and I totally agree with that. And I think we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. The old locker room is dead and gone. Like it's a young man's locker room now on the South Side, and you know, hopefully with all these different cultures coming in, guys can bring a little bit of, you know, what they bring from their background. And I hope they got the obnoxiously large stereo and like people are playing, you know, shitty music, whatever, but they're all loving it. And like they get some rally cry or some bullshit. You know what I mean? And like it just goes. But that's what you usually get with these young teams. And when these guys are having fun, when they're just playing ball and they're not thinking about being a professional and like doing all this, that's when they're at their best.
Yep.
And when Luis Robert was mauling fucking Domino's pizzas 2 at a time and just showing up to the park and hitting fucking 500-foot nukes, that's when he was just playing ball because he didn't know anything else.
That's
He
didn't
needs to
have
get
all
back
these-
to the Domino's Pizza thing.
Yeah, he didn't have Yohan Moncada in his ear. He didn't have Tim Anderson crying over bullshit. Like he didn't have all that stuff yet. And by the way, please stop reporting that the White Sox are interested in Yohan Moncada. Just stop. it.
Yeah,
Stop
that
it.
made no sense.
Stop it.
That felt
Stop
like an
it.
agent leak if I've ever seen
Did that
one.
come from? Was it
stop
the?
it.
Was it the same guy? Was it Francis Romero?
Yeah, and he has a pretty good track
He-
record.
he
It's
does.
just that one made no sense. Like that's why it reeked to me of like his agent put that out there
Yeah,
because
that
like
was
he's
like
not
a-
even as good. Like if you look at the numbers compared to Lenine Sosa, like Lenine Sosa was a better player last year.
I think
Especially
Yohan had
that.
like a good month, and that was
Yeah,
it.
and that's what he does every year.
And he was hurt too a lot of the year too. Like he
Yeah.
missed a bunch of time. It was a typical Yohan Moncada season.
That's what he
Here.
does every year. And, yeah.
How's this for a transition? I think the White Sox offense is going to be very fun, but how good can the 2026 White Sox be if Sean Newcomb is a starting pitcher for them?
Oh,
The pitching.
go ahead. So I got some thoughts on
The
that.
pitching to me, it's so bang or bust. Like we've seen these guys coming up through the minor league, and I know Ian's watching. He's in the comments. Please feel free to correct me. But we've seen these guys coming up to the minor leagues, and you know, some say they took a step back, some say they took a step back because they already reached like the top of their craft in the minor league, so they started working on, you know, 4th and 5th pitches, and that's what got them touched up a little bit. But you know, it's time to bring up these boys. It's time to see what we got, you know, and like I said, it could be gangbusters. Like they can be insane, or we could be watching Newcomb pitch a lot. Like it's like
Yeah, I like the Sean Newcomb signing. Like, I thought that was a good addition, but that was under the premise that he was going to be coming out of the bullpen. Because you look at the left-handed options, especially, they don't have a ton of battle-tested left-handers. So you're entering camp right now. Now they did just sign that Ryan Baruki today to like a minor league deal, who could be a left-hander on that pen. But like out of there right now, it's Tyler Gilbert and Brandon Iser are like your two veteran, quote unquote, like left-handed. So that's not great. So the White Sox need the lefty. And Newcomb, if you look at his splits, because when he said this at first, he's like, "Oh, I want to be a starter," and like I want my goal this season is throw as many innings in the starting rotation as I can. It reminded me a lot of Bryce Wilson almost last year. I'm like, well, maybe they'll do him like a fringe role, but it sounds like he wants to go into camp and compete for the job. So a couple numbers on him. This is why I like him a lot more in the bullpen, just splits aside, and we'll get into the depth in a second. Last year, 2.19 ERA in 70 innings out of the bullpen. He had a 4.43 mark as a starter, and that's been like the case of his whole career. 3.84 ERA, holding opponents to a 2.13 batting average in about 158 appearances out of the bullpen. As a starter, his ERA climbs to 4.41. Hitters go from hitting 213 off him as a reliever to 257. And that's in about 324 innings. So it's a lot. It's a lot uglier. Two, also, you got Drew Thorpe coming back from injury. So like he could be a fifth starter candidate. You still got Kai Bush, who could be a fifth starter candidate. So, and I think you have four of those spots already in place. Like Anthony Kay is going to be in the rotation. Shane Smith's going to be in the rotation. Martin's going to be in the rotation. So, so I don't know. I mean, and then Sean Burke showed some flash too last year. So I don't think you really need him to go in the rotation. And you also got those guys. You got some guys waiting in the wings in the minor leagues too. So I just think putting Newcomb as a starter is a waste of resources. Like go out and get an actual innings eater instead of some fringe bullpen guy who's clearly shown he's better out of the bullpen, and that's a position to need for him. They don't have many. The bullpen was a disaster as is, and they don't even have many left-handed options. So
maybe they just put him on maybe they just put him on the Caleb Williams plan where he just needs to play 3 quarters before the game starts, and then get him to start and be like, "Hey, dude, go for it." But I mean, this is the year we see Noah Schultz. This is the year we see Hagen Smith. This is the year, the lefties that were promised are. I
was going to say, Kevin, get into White Sox business. Is this
the
year? Is this the year we see the guy
jumping up to the number 7 slot on the White Sox prospect list?
I was so glad they protected him in the Rule 5 draft. He would have been taken too. Like he had such a good year in the minors last year.
We're talking about Tanner motherfucker McDougal, who is a friend of the show. And yeah, he was on the show. He talked to us about a lot of stuff, but something he talked about to me that stuck out was travel baseball and like coming up. And I've actually quoted him a couple times since then. But yeah, Tanner McDougal works his balls off, gets all the way up to now the number 7 prospect in the White Sox system, right-handed pitcher. MLB and the rankings have him at 2027 for his estimated time up to the show. So maybe some time off, but I mean, I'm very excited for Noah Schultz, Hagen Smith, and I'm sure there's a couple other ones down there, but you should ask Mike to put you in his suitcase next week.
Oh Jesus! I'm sorry. I was just trying to cue this up just because I know that it's Beef's favorite. So yeah, this is kind of like the running theme every time now. With this, it goes up because this is gonna actually work. I'm not sure, but.
And I haven't really had an answer. But now, I'm thinking I'm back. So you can either hand over your son, or you can die screaming alongside him.
Anyway, that's the wrong button. But anyway, that's I'm back in White Sox business. You guys are so fun.
It's all right. No,
I'm gonna be really mad because he's gonna deal and he's gonna break camp as the number 5 instead.
McDougal's been working his ass off with that team for so long. He used to tell us about Garrett Crochet.
I I've been watching.
Well, they were both rehabbing together, right?
Yeah.
That was before he turned into like the starter full time too, and he was like, Crochet looks like a stud.
Yeah. Yep. He was. Remember the time he was on the show? He did it from his brand new Tesla from his signing bonus. And he had to sit out there because he had like 4 other ball players from in Arizona, all in the house. It was the only place he could find quiet because a bunch of
Well, it's so encouraging.
Ball players.
What was so encouraging too, because he always had the stuff, but like he really cut down on the walk rate. And that I think is kind of like the biggest red flag like last year, but he really made strides in improving in that department.
Look at his weight gain.
He's
Look at
going
his
deeper
weight
into games too. He's
Look at his
definitely
weight
going
gain.
deeper into games. Well, that goes with not walking guys.
He's starting to look like his dad now. Okay, I think I told you guys this. His dad is a fucking glue. His dad is the kind of guy that would put your hand on. He
Like
put his
in a
hand
good
on your
way or
shoulder,
like
hold
in
you
a-
up to the wall like Darth Vader. He's huge.
Okay.
And you know he likes his beer. He got a nice little beer gut, and you can see Tanner kind of developing.
Hell yeah.
You know, and you know Tanner. I know he's been working his butt off. This is how Tanner's been golfing a lot this offseason. But
I just been putting in that work.
you could see his physique. He's
Oh,
growing
yeah,
into a
2.0.
man body now, and
Ooh.
that's where you're gonna get a lot more from the core and those fucking horse thighs that he has. And that's the funniest part. Again, when I look at him, I
more
still
about
see,
his
I see
thighs.
Bambi. I see Bambi. I see this weird freshman. You know, I mean, I've
Heading
noticed
into
he's a baby,
Japanese
basically, but
horny Twitter.
he's like his legs came up to his boobs basically when he was a freshman. He was just legs and then like shoulders. And you know he's becoming this guy. Like it's fun for me to watch. Just
I keep spending time in
very
the golf
different
course
guy.
instead of the weight room. I don't know how long that's going to last. Might be selling Google stock now after this offseason report.
And although to your say, Beef,
and he's
I
a
know
tripod, by the way. Wait, what? Fuck.
yeah, Beef. I think you
That's
missed
the
it
new-
earlier.
that's the
We
nickname.
were talking about Muni, and we were talking about how awful it's going to be when Japanese horny anime Twitter interjects with White Sox.
Like
It's just
imagine
a-
regular
it's-
White Sox
it's just a
horny
mess.
Twitter, and now you
Yes.
have Japanese horny Twitter.
You got anime and all that other crazy shit coming over. Yeah, that's some wild stuff. Yeah, that's. Whew.
You mean
And I
anime?
guess-
You're gonna have some sexy anime? What? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, here we
Oh
go.
no, needs
Oh,
more
boy.
bulge. The last thing I mean is just we have on the list here is Kyle Tucker went to the Dodgers, and it's laughable. First of all, how much they paid him. Like, I either he really hated being on the Cubs, like he really hated it, and was just like, no, I'm just not going to play here. Like, I'm just going through the motions till I get paid next year by somebody. Or he just isn't. He was so good on the Astros. He was one of my guys. And then last year, the second half of the season, he just completely fell off. So it was
I
just
think
wild.
that injury, because he was like he was a unit that first half of the season. Then he got a bit banged up, and he just like wasn't the same.
He got the finger injury in June, and apparently that just messed up his understandable, important. He's swinging the bat. That messed up his mechanics. He changed his mechanics, and then
He had to watch Dansby Swanson with runners in scoring position from the bench for a couple weeks.
like no joke, he became Jason Hayward. Like we all remembered like how bad Jason. Like it was just a ground out to second base,
But people
or a
forget too,
strikeout or a pop up. It was bad.
he didn't even play. But that's the most games he had played in like 2 seasons too. He didn't play.
Well, he had the shin fracture
Yeah,
in 2024.
Mhm.
Missed a bunch of time then.
Yep. So he hit a wall, I think, physically. That's what I was like, kind of like, in my opinion, he just needed a full season back to get his legs back, no pun intended. And then he got dinged again, and he wasn't able to push through that part of
he had
the
the
guard. And I
calf
think the stopping
injury.
and starting, it got bad for him. And I think he's gonna fucking hit 40 home runs in LA, and he's gonna.
Everyone in that lineup is protected because it's
yeah.
You won't know
all-stars, 1 for 9.
Like their
nobody cares because he
fourth
won by
best
12.
Yeah. It's just the lineup's a joke, dude. Teoscar Hernandez is like an afterthought.
By the way,
Kyle Tucker may be their third best lefty bat.
yeah, he is.
Lefty.
No, he
Not
is.
even that
Shohei,
good.
Freddie Freeman, and then we got Kyle Tucker, batting fifth.
Whoa.
Oh, and then Mookie Betts had a down season, but he's
Yeah.
still.
Pitching around Freddie Freeman to get to Kyle Tucker. That must be nice.
So,
And you know what? Good
Both my
pitching
guys are just like,
still always will beat good offense. And if you saw how close the Blue Jays were, and they weren't even at full strength, and they were 1 inch away basically from beating that juggernaut. And if anybody else can't look at that and say, look, if your team puts together everybody should be building a team that literally is the kryptonite for that roster. And you build it to you build a team that's good enough to like be the kryptonite for that roster. You're going to win enough games to make the postseason. You're going to be right there in the end. You build your team to compete with what they don't do well, so that you can literally slip that into the cracks and like break them apart in the postseason. And that's how teams should be. Again, why you like a Nico Horner on the lineup? You need guys like that. These are guys that can do things that are a little bit different and can make a difference, especially when you have,
Were you guys
season like that.
surprised that there weren't as many teams trying to sign Tucker?
A little bit, but I
them.
just think the Dodgers just like planted their flag and were like, guys, you could all fuck off. We're gonna give him.
Well,
and the Dodgers also they have that huge advantage with that TV deal they sign. Like they don't have to do like the revenue sharing like a lot of these other teams because they signed their TV deal early on. So they do have a significant advantage. And there's also just not like to answer those questions. There's not a ton of teams with the payroll or like the owners willing to pony up that much capital.
What happened to our evil Yankees? What happened to the we'll give you $400 million? It was the Blue Jays offered him 10 years, $350 million. The New York Mets offered him 4 for $220.
Yeah, or 20 less. Yep.
And then the Dodgers signed him 4 for $240, and that was it.
Yeah, the Dodgers.
Like those were the offers.
Fucking peasants. Sick Bo Bichette signing, Mets. It's the most no point signing ever. But yeah, go for it. That's Bo Bichette to the Mets is the most panic. We lost Kyle Tucker, but look, we got Bo.
Like, you know what was even more? Oh, I did want to bring this up. We'd have to spend a lot of time. But how sad was it for JT Realmuto to being like not even the backup? He was like playing C.
And he's like a hell of a catcher too, which is it just sucks. But here's my thing with the Dodgers. 2 things. One, again, I don't understand why so many people are mad that their ownership is trying to win.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that the point of all of this is to win? And 2, people are like, oh, they ruined baseball. I think they made it more fun. I'm a root like hell against the Dodgers.
Was that World Series not awesome? Because everyone was rooting against the Dodgers. Like,
I've never been a bigger Blue Jay fan in my life. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was rooting against the Dodgers. And everybody's going to want to see the evil empire fail. They are our generation's Yankees now. Like, it is what it is.
Yep. And most franchise can, maybe they can't do it on the level of the Dodgers, but every single franchise in baseball is capable of putting together a roster, spending the money, and making it happen for these. And you guys know how I feel about players. I mean, we know that we know these players are getting a fraction of the revenue that these owners are taking in and putting in their pocket too. Like a lot of the things that, this sucks about this is every time I hear someone like, especially like, what's that dickhead's name? Bowden. Talk about a salary cap. I know this is a guy that took advantage of, underprivileged, underaged, kind of young, ignorant, kind of young ball players his whole career. And I don't want to listen to that guy talk about a salary cap because all it does is it just puts more money in the owner's pocket. Right. There should be a percentage floor of their revenue, and they can't open the books, so we don't know what they're making. But every single franchise can spend. And the idea of a salary cap, that's only stumping for owners. There's never a salary cap in Major League Baseball. I don't give a shit if the Dodgers start paying dudes $4 billion. Never do it, because you know what? Those players deserve it. They're the ones putting in the time on the field. So if they're getting $1 billion, so goddamn be it. But
and you have to fact check me on this. But I heard that Tucker's contract was more than like 5 teams in the MLB's total payroll entry next season.
That's pathetic.
And
the Pirates are notoriously cheap. The Rockies, I have no idea what the hell their ownership is doing.
Right.
The Marlins
are actually spending a little bit right now. They're kind of gearing up towards that.
The Blue Jays showed up this offseason.
The Blue Jays are like,
and they really got
like we got that. What's their?
We get a rematch.
Loonies and
TV
Toonies
up there in Toronto. They have that Sportsnet money.
Oh yeah, network.
The Rogers Center, whatever the hell it is.
Poutine and gravy.
It's not the Yes Network in New York. It's the Oh Yeah Network.
Oh yeah.
The Royal or the Canada. Toronto's at a disadvantage though, even with signing free agents. They almost have to like pay more just because in the US dollars compared to the Canada. So like it's almost more impressive what they're doing. Just given it's hard to get free agents that want to come there.
The one thing
how the president puts tariffs on the Toronto Blue Jays because they're beating American teams.
The one thing I'm really looking forward to is how the Dodgers somehow fuck up deferred payments down the line, like 10 years from now. Like somebody doesn't get paid or something happens, or I don't know. It's just I feel like there's a lot of
it's got to be insured in some way, shape, or form, right?
I would imagine, but I don't know. It's wild. But
you know what pissed me off about the Dodgers last year? Not more so than the payroll. This is a quick hit, if you will. Not even that they paid all this money, and like it very much is that you were out there, Zoe. It's very much a Dodgers-Lakers town. They don't really care about any of the sports. They got a playoff game, and I get they've been there like each of the last couple of years. They constantly go to the World Series. That first series they had, it's the first inning, and it's like 70% full. Like, what the hell's going on? Like everyone's stuck
to a Dodgers game.
It's like the Braves in the 90s.
It's hard to get to the Dodgers.
But yeah, it is hard to get to the Dodgers game in general.
I get it, but the playoffs, it's not sold out.
The playoffs.
Playoffs? Talking about playoffs and traffic?
Oh, real quick before we go into the NASCAR minute, because we are trying to keep this show tight. Adrian Beltre and Andrew
Carlos
Jones.
Beltran.
Carlos Beltran. There you go. And Andrew Jones getting the Hall of Fame.
White Sox legend Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones getting into the Hall of Fame, though, those 90s Braves teams, just insane now. Like, if you look at how many players off those teams are now in the Hall of Fame, it's crazy, dude. Like, I saw the list, and I can't think of the whole list off the top of my head, but it's a lot of names off of one team.
I remember Frank Thomas's year he got inducted. We went up to Cooperstown, our family, and it was like Bobby Cox, Tom Glavine, and Greg Maddux were all in just that Hall of Fame class.
Ew. John Smoltz, Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones.
Didn't Fred McGriff get in?
Obviously, Bobby Cox is
Yeah,
in.
Bobby Cox, Fred McGriff.
Now Andrew Jones.
Those teams were just so sick.
Pretty
Paul
decent
Bacco
team.
actually.
Only one World Series. Frauds.
No Paul
Frauds.
Bacco. Hall of Fame's a sham.
I thought Rizzo had a really good comment at Cubs convention about that. Like, I know you're joking, like the only one series, but like he was saying there's like fans that would come up to him like, oh, like we can't wait till you guys do it again next year. And he's like, next year? Like, do you realize how hard it was just to get like this year?
Yeah.
You didn't die.
Even
or
with
something
the
like
stacked
that.
roster, like the Dodgers, it's hard, especially in baseball. Getting all the way to like, can't really blame it.
I gotta say, it's kind of self-inflicted because what kind of started all this like titles or fraud talk. Like it goes back to like the MJ LeBron debate. It's like,
Pretty much.
that's where this all. So it's like, well, if you don't win championships every time, you're a fucking loser.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's been so long since I've hit this button, and I'm so looking forward to hitting this button. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the NASCAR Minute with NASCAR Mitch.
All right, first off, before we start, rest in peace, Greg Biffle. Lost a legend over the offseason. But I do want to get into something. That was a horrible transition. But Rip Biff, I got something that's been pissing me off this offseason about NASCAR. So NASCAR just changed the rules for the playoffs. So when I first became like really heavily invested into it, they were in like a playoff format. So it would go 16 drivers make the playoffs. Then they'd have multiple rounds. There'd be 3 races in each round. 4 drivers would get eliminated. And it would all lead up to the championship race where there'd just be one winner, like winner take all out of those last remaining 4 drivers, or finishes the highest gets in. So they were already announcing they were going to try and change the format beforehand. And it really came to a head because Denny Hamlin, who was leading the majority of the race, he dominated the whole race. His best car all day. Caution comes out. He makes a bad call on like the pit stop. They take 4 tires. Everyone else behind him took 2, so he gets buried. He loses the championship. So now all these old fans are really pissed. Bring back the full points format. Bring back the full season points format. So Mark Martin, old driver, who's kind of really leading that campaign, he's like, this is what the fans want. It's exciting. I think that's ridiculous. The playoffs, they gave you the Hal Mellon moment. They gave you the Ryan Blaney Clutch Martinsville win. They gave you the last lap pass with Tyler Reddick. It creates good moments because you need to win. So what NASCAR did instead, they go to this new format, which I think is stupid, especially when you're competing with football season, which is a big issue. It's now going to be back to the old format they had called the chase. So there's no longer winning you're in. You don't get these wild card like wins that get in. It's just the top 16 drivers and the regular season on points get into the playoffs. Then they will do 10 races from there with the remaining 16 in the playoffs. Whoever's highest in points after those 10 races wins. My issue with that is you could have a driver that like wraps it up after 5 races, and it's like, what the hell am I watching the last 5 races for? I would be dual screens if the Bears and NASCAR were on, but if the playoffs are wrapped up and I have no reason to watch, or it's not like a deciding race, why the hell am I watching NASCAR at that point? I think it's a dumb decision. I think they took a lot of excitement out of it. I think it was short-sighted, and they listened to a lot of these old heads which, the NASCAR fan base not known for their education background. So I can see why they would cave to that. But I was not happy with it. Do not like this chase format. I'm in the minority. A lot of NASCAR fans will probably disagree with me, but I think that was a stupid decision. The playoffs were great. Guys, you made a mistake. That's my NASCAR minute.
Hold on, where's the other minute?
I started drinking at 6 a.m. and we're here now. I don't know what time it is, but I'm rolling deep, and those cars are going real fast and real left, son. They're going fast and left. Fuck yeah!
Kick rocks, Mitch.
I miss those
Good to be
buttons.
back.
I miss those buttons. We have people coming in. Cubs Zone, good to hear from you again. Ian, always good to hear from you, man. Beef, everybody else that checked in tonight. Feels good to be back. We appreciate it.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Wilderwood.
Yeah, Pinwheels and Ivy is back. Tell your grandma. And anybody got anything else they want to close up? Keep it leading right a minute, hour 15. We're doing so good tonight.
We did do good. I was hammering the over. I figured hour and a half. I was going to hammer the over on that.
Yep.
All this we're trying to keep it under an hour and a half. I'm like, yep.
I'm keeping it a tight ship. Toit. And I think we're going to actually hire from some of the other shows that are coming from the Sports Mockery Network. Keep an eye on it, but we're going to start hiring kids to clip shows.
Woo!
On the TikTok and all those the other places you kids like to be on.
I do. It's kind of funny. I have the dumbest motherfucking. Okay, I don't know how the algorithm works
Here
on
comes
Instagram.
the over.
ADHD story. I'm gonna get us.
The over's still alive.
If I bet 120, I'm getting 120. So I have a post, and it's just fucking Buffalo Bill dancing in front of the camera, and it was just an easy, stupid post about like whatever. This is what my pizza rolls see at 11:30 at night after going out and drinking or whatever. I don't know how the algorithm works because I've had so many bangers that I thought were bangers. This goddamn thing is almost at 1 million views now at this point, and I put that same thing on TikTok and it has like 14 views. I don't know how the algorithm works, so we're gonna have to really let those TikTok guys.
Mitch is our corresponding youth correspondent here. So
hello, kids. I'm not even much of a TikTok guy, but if you go to the Sports Mockery TikTok, free plug, Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Yeah, we got some White Sox TikToks on there now. It's all Bears and White Sox content. So, well, mostly Bears content, but there's about, I want to say about like 10 on there. So if you go through, you can see about the Mooney signing, top 5 moments from last season, Yohan Moncada rumors, all of that and more. So check out Sports Mockery TikTok.
Folks, read Mitch's shit. We're trying to get him an air conditioning unit this summer.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I had to put on the heating last month. My girlfriend came over. She's like, "Oh, you want to hang out this weekend?" I'm like, "No, the Bears are playing." And she's like, "Oh, come watch the Bears." My apartment was freezing because I usually just have the pressure on. But you put the heat on for like a week, and it's like $70. I'm like, I don't have that type of money. Yeah, I'm a low, big J journalist job. We're making the mediocre bucks. So
he's got $70.
Read my article so I can buy AC and heat.
Yeah. Let's get Mitch central air.
Central air.
Let's read Mitch's article. Let's make this a goal. Maybe we'll start a GoFundMe.
Mitch is gonna have he's gonna be starting fires in his apartment just to stay warm.
We were doing those. I was doing those streams on the Wednesdays, like the noon streams, and there'd be times, especially in the summer, I'd be like glistening on that stream. I'd be like, my ass sitting there.
Oh man! All right, well, suck it, everybody. The underhit.
He's trying to get us to 120. Fuck.
We did. The car does have AC.
For Mitch, K-Fids, although I'm Zoe, it's good to see you guys all again. Hopefully we can hang out next week. We'll see you then. Bye.